Government of Sweden to stand trial for persecuting vaccine skeptics. Swedish public service journalists invade home of vaccine critic using fake identities. I wanted to believe that they were genuine. They said they were vaccine skeptics and wanted to do a documentary about it. I really thought we were becoming friends. They were brilliant actors, said Linda Karlström, a victim of government-controlled media in Sweden. Linda Karlström, age 45, was made Sports Coach of the Year in the village of Kronoby in Finland on November 26, 2020. 9 months later, she sued the government of Sweden for defamation. The trial starts on February 7, 2023. On November 26, 2020, Linda Karlström, 45, and mother of 5, received the Coach of the Year award for her work in gymnastics in Kronoby, a Swedish-speaking enclave on the coast of Finland with a population of 6,439. Normally, the ceremony would have been followed by a banquet. But since 2020 was year 1 of the COVID pandemic, or plandemic, as Mrs. Karlström puts it, the event was scaled down. On December 16, 2020, Swedish state television aired the final episode of a 3-part documentary titled Vaccinkrigarna, or The Vaccine Warriors, a critical take on vaccine skepticism. The next day, December 17, 2020, the media went ballistic. Coach of the Year is a conspiracy theorist and anti-Semite, their headlines shouted. She explained, I was fired on the spot. I did not know how to survive from 1 minute to the next. Where did the newspapers get all this from? The title of the first installment of the documentary, Infiltration, was apt. The reporters from SVT went in undercover. With fake names and fake credentials, even altering their physical appearances, to get close to their targets, with Kronoby's Coach of the Year being the first. As a teenager, Mrs. Karlström was a competitive gymnast, training with professionals from neighboring Russia. Later, she became a popular regional gymnastics coach. In August 2021, she filed charges against the government of Sweden, the funding body of SVT. The trial is scheduled for 7 to 8 February 2023. On her lawyer's advice, she does not want to talk about the case except to make a persuasive argument for why it is not about money. Swedish damage awards are notoriously low. Even if she should win, it would, at best, result in some 150,000 Swedish kronor, about £12,000 sterling, for a 2-year-long witch hunt that is still going on. Mrs. Karlström's transformation from economist and soccer mom to vaccine skeptic began in 2007, 2 years after having had her first child. Linda recalled. My daughter had already been given several vaccines when I realized something was wrong. The first was a tuberculosis shot given at the maternity ward. It proved near fatal. Later, my daughter suffered badly from an MMR injection, coughs, fever, and several months with vomit attacks. In 2009, Mrs. Karlström went public, and since 2011 she is editor-in-chief for the information portal Vaccin.me. Ulf Stenman. I say and drop the name of the man who presented Mrs. Karlström with the Coach of the Year award in late November 2020. This is how the witch hunt started, she says. The morning after the final episode aired, this man sent out an email to all employees in the municipality, as well as to all its elected officials, and demanded immediate distancing from myself. That's how I lost my coaching engagements. Later the same day, he followed up with a nationwide press release. I have been living in this village for over 20 years, and I didn't even know there was a Coach of the Year award until I received it. But now it's headline news across the nation. I decided to drop the name of the second protagonist in the documentary. A former British doctor, struck from the medical register in 2010 after The Lancet, in 1998, published a study in which he highlighted the possibility of a link between autism and the MMR vaccine. What about Andrew Wakefield? It is easy to get the impression that we should know each other. Andrew and I were the primary targets of the hit piece. But I don't know him. We have never met. Still, the undercover reporters from SVT kept pushing the issue. What do you think about Andrew? Eventually, I stated the obvious. Mr. Wakefield is the face of vaccine skepticism. They loved it and persuaded me to repeat this in front of the cameras. I asked if she ever suspected that something was off, about the women who just showed up on her doorstep and lied about who they were. I wanted to believe that they were genuine. They said they were vaccine skeptics and wanted to do a documentary about it. I really thought we were becoming friends. They were brilliant actors. Establishing a link between Linda Karlström and Andrew Wakefield was important for SVT's Anna Nordbeck, the producer who stayed in the wings until the very end of the filming. In The Vaccine Warriors, they paint a picture of a global anti-vax movement led by Mr. Wakefield, which poses a danger to humanity. The situation today is that Linda is back coaching, but privately. She explained. The older gymnasts want me to keep helping them, so I do. They get together, pool resources, rent a venue, and we do it ourselves. Your daughter? She has recovered. With 2023 around the corner, what are your feelings about the future? I am holding my breath, waiting for the fallout of this horrendous worldwide campaign of emergency-approved venomous injections. The trial against Sweden and its public service broadcaster SVT starts at 9:30 a.m. on February 7, 2023 at the Stockholm District Court on Skillegatan 7 in downtown Stockholm.